I don't even have the energy to do my intro. Hey. I've tried to make this video like 3 times. I knocked over a completely full, heaping, overfull laundry basket of clean clothes, trying to make it over on this side of my room. I'm sure, like, I look orange a little bit. My eyes look so red. I did cry today, but not recently. I don't know. And I don't have the energy to know or to figure it out today. So I think we should just like chit chat a little bit. I've been wanting to make one for a while, and you guys actually mentioned it over on the community tab. I asked you guys what you wanted to see from me this year, and to be honest, that entire post was a surprise. I 100% thought I knew where it was going to go, and you guys really did surprise me with your responses, which I need to reply to. Hopefully I have by the time you see this video. But anybody else struggling? Having a minute? Oh my gosh. I did want to make this video because I did want to talk about one specific thing, but then today just kind of happened, and I feel like I could talk for 45 minutes. I won't, but I could. I wanted to talk to you guys because of that post. A lot of you wanted to see grocery hauls and what's for dinner, what the kids are having for lunch, recipes, like all of that stuff. And I want to give it to you, but there's hesitation. I'd be lying to say that there wasn't any. And I'll explain. Because I think before last year, I was comfortable sharing pretty much anything food-wise when it came to our family. Obviously, there's always restrictions on what I want to share, but for the most part, I was comfortable sharing that kind of stuff. And then I got uncomfortable. And if we're being 100% honest, like right now, I'm trying to fix my relationship with food. Growing up as a teenager, I had an eating disorder. I've always had a very unhealthy relationship with food and a viewpoint of it and what I use it for, because it's certainly not for nutrition. Should be. That's what it's meant for. But I'm trying to fix that in the gentlest, nicest way to myself, because I feel like everything I do doesn't ever stick. So I'm trying this, and I'm trying to really work on that and change the way that I talk to myself, the way that I view food and things like that. And hopefully that leads to long-term progress where I have a better, good relationship with food, and some things aren't as hard as they are right now. So I'm working on that, which means that like I'm kind of in I'm in a certain headspace, like a vulnerable headspace, I guess you could say. And last year, it just really hit me hard that the internet's the internet. It's always going to have its judgments. But when you find out that the people around you have even more intense judgments or higher criticisms than those that you've even seen online, it makes you really uncomfortable. Because I also know that some of the people that come to mind when I'm talking about this, they watch my videos. And quite frankly, it makes me uncomfortable that they do. And me trying to heal the relationship that I have with food while also setting a better example and instilling better things into our kids. And, you know, just having a realistic, balanced approach to things and stuff like that. It's difficult to do that while knowing that you're going to be judged for it. And the judgment of strangers, I don't really mind. They don't know the full story, you know? But when you know that people watch your content that you used to respect, hoped that they respected you, but apparently don't based off the parenting decisions that you make, it's hard to not want to just inch away from that, you know? So it was just easier for me to stop sharing those things. I mean, the pandemic had the biggest influence as far as grocery hauls go, but I stopped doing recipes. I stopped doing meal ideas and stuff because I just didn't want to put it out there, because if they didn't see it, they didn't know, and I couldn't be judged for it. But as I've mentioned over on my Instagram, I'm done with that. And I'm not saying that I still don't have those thoughts of like, is somebody gonna judge me or anything like that. It's just I'm going to make it a point to tell myself that I wouldn't take their advice on a lot of life things. So the nutrition of my kids is definitely not one that I would consider their opinion on. With this past year, we eat more at home now than ever. And I have had to cook and bake and get creative and be fun and try new things and be fun. No, just trying to get my kids to eat something. But, just do different things. And I feel like I've come across some recipes that I would really like to share with you guys because they have been really great to us. It's just hard while you're working on yourself and you already have your own criticisms and the things that you're working on to say, okay, here, now I would like you to judge this. I'm not asking for that, but you'll certainly get it whether you ask for it or not on the internet. So I'm trying to be more mindful of would I ask this person's opinion on XYZ? No? Okay, then we stop there and we don't dwell on what their opinion would be because you don't trust them with that. Let's just not focus on it. So that's what I'm trying to do in order to get back to those things because I really do want to share with you guys more. I feel like cooking and baking and food in general has kind of become something I've had to get good at with being a mom and a stay-at-home mom of almost 7 years. That dawned on me this morning. What? Sophie's gonna be 7 this year. So this October I will be a stay-at-home mom of 7 years, which is mind-blowing. But I've been doing this for a minute, close to a decade. And I think I need to have more confidence in myself than worry about what others are going to do or say. I think last year was tough for a lot of people in the way that their opinions of others have changed and stuff like that. And I know that unity and things like getting along throughout differences and stuff is a very popular thing right now. But honestly, I'm all for, if you don't want to have a relationship, you're not obligated to have a relationship. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it's what I believe. It's what I strongly believe. You're on this earth one time, and if you don't want to have a relationship with somebody, you don't have to. Simple as that. You don't have to like people. You don't have to get along with them. I mean, I think you should be civil, but I think boundaries are also very important. I think people see those as disrespectful sometimes. This person has been your friend for this many years. This person is your family member. This person has done this, that, or whatever for you. Doesn't mean that a boundary doesn't need to be in place or that someone's overstepping or the relationship is not a healthy one. It took me a long time to really sit and be okay with that. I went through a lot of things as a teenager and I was told a lot. You have to do this because this person is this. And that just never sat right with me. I think people assume that after a certain amount of time or a certain relationship, there's just endless amounts of respect and space to be given or relationship to be had. And I could not disagree further. If you are disrespectful, if I feel uncomfortable around you, if I don't feel like I can trust you, that boundary will be there to protect me because I don't trust you. And that's okay. I'm working on those kind of things right now, but it's also just been overwhelming. Last night we finally got Mark a car. His car actually died, I think it was like right before Christmas. I was too lazy to go get a tripod and the angle like 2 inches higher on my desk was too weird, and the angle 2 inches lower on my drawer was also too weird. So I'm gonna hold you guys the whole time. Sorry if it's shaky. But yeah, so he's been able to use my car because we've been homeschooling and staying home as we should. But it's also meant that we're like quite literally stuck here. No drives, no like, oh, everybody's cranky, throw them in the car, take them for a drive, everyone can have their space and chill out. Nope, none of that. And it also just made it really hard for me to even want to go do that myself after he got home because it's just like, ugh, like, but I need to get dinner. I was telling my therapist that it's difficult to make that time. Probably not making any sense, but thankfully we got him a car. He's very happy with it. Very happy he could finally get what he's been looking for because he has been looking for the past couple of months, but just nothing's felt right. And obviously a car is a huge commitment. So we're going to feel right about that. So we just waited it out, and I'm really glad that we did, because this just feels really good. It was a good deal. Like, everything about it just feels like, okay, yeah, that was the right decision. So a lot of different things about it that just relieved about, but also having my car back and a sense of freedom just to even take a drive during the day and just kind of do that stuff, because there's a difference between being able to do that and not having a form of transportation at your house. So it's difficult. Definitely give it to you guys who have a 1-car household or a 0-car household. You guys really do be making it work. So yeah, we did that, but it's still difficult, you know, even with my car, even with those drives out, because I'm going on like 4 months now of being home with the kids every single day, and the only adult interaction being my husband and social media. Because before things got really bad, right before Halloween, that's when we started even social distancing from family members and the small little bubble, the tiny little bubble that we had of like 6 people. And we haven't even seen those people in months. And I'm tired of it, and I'm sick of it. But it's also just, it's overwhelming on top of the already constant things going through our minds. I made a story about it on Instagram, but I just feel like I'm constantly like, okay, how many diapers do we have left? When do I need to order those? Okay, why is there a fruit cup in the hallway? Why are they fighting again? Like, was I patient enough today? Okay, I've got to make sure that this jacket is clean because they said they wanted to wear it tomorrow. And, you know, like, well, text Mark, tell him that you appreciate everything that he's doing, and see how his day is going. And then, you know, what's for dinner, what's for lunch, what's for breakfast, what's for snack. And when do I need to place that grocery order? Are they going to even have any slots open? Do I need to go in store? All of that. And it really doesn't slow down until they're in bed. And even then, it's still something that's revolving, just not quite as quickly. And doing all that on top of having like no adult interaction, yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. And I just feel like this isolation has kind of taken a bit of my sense of self away, which I'm trying to work on. And that's another thing. I think that people assume when you are venting about something or just talking about how heavy something is, they're like, they're not doing anything to fix it. So, like, what's your problem? Like, quit complaining and do something about it. I am. It just doesn't immediately solve the issue. Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about this stuff because they think that they're going to seem ungrateful or like a whiny bitch. And I probably do to some people, but I don't care, because we will not get along anyways if you don't resonate with this. Not if you don't resonate, but if you don't think there's merit in getting hard things off your chest. I saw a quote the other day that said something about how not talking about things means you're carrying them. And that gets heavy. And I could not agree more. It just feels like society and the Perfect Parent Committee wants you to run households and be responsible for other lives and have a hard time taking care of yourself as a mother, and not talk about how heavy that is. And I'm over it. So I'm going to speak my truth and what it feels like to be a mom in the 21st century. And yeah, I like screen time. And I like the McDonald's drive-thru. And it's like, if you do like those things, people assume that you just don't care about your kids' health, or that you're not working on every aspect of that, how to raise them emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy. I consider all of those things, but I'm also not freaking Superwoman. I think my kids deserve a happy mom, a healthy present mom, over a raging, obsessed kind of bitch who can't let anything bend. That's just me. I mean, I know we all have our things that we won't bend on, but the bar's kind of low right now. Yeah, see, I said that I could talk for a while. I'm already up to 20 minutes. I really wanted to share how I'm feeling about the food situation because I think that is something that parents get judged on heavily, heavily in the 21st century. Do you think anyone was giving my mom the side eye as she was picking up bologna, white bread, and Kool-Aid pouches from the store in the 90s? No, she was not. Miss Ma'am was picking up Lunchables, pasta, and chicken nuggets in those, like, what were those? Kids' cuisines on special, okay? Where's some of that tolerance? Can I get some of that? No, they weren't. And you know what else? They won't give it to dads now either. Because my husband is an amazing father, an active father, a present father. I remember when Sophie was a baby, we had her at Wendy's, right? And she had a dirty diaper. But I was in the middle of eating. So without saying anything, Mark just picked her up and took her to the bathroom to change her. And these group of elderly women leaned over and was like, "You're so lucky to have him. You know, that's not a very common thing." They are sweethearts, and I knew that they had good intentions. But at the same time, he created that human too. He's not doing a good thing by changing a diaper. He's being a parent. I just want the energy matched. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like it's really difficult to be a parent, especially right now, when isolation is high and we're not meant to be isolated creatures, and there's so many different decisions, and it's just really tough. It really is. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying it's tough. I don't think there's anything wrong with venting or getting things off your chest, and you are not ungrateful or complaining or a bad parent because you do. No matter what age, no matter what they're going through, no matter how many kids they have, stuff like that. Parenthood is tough. Why is there so much criticism around it? There are certain things, safety things, that are definitely proven to be safer than others. And that's not a parenting choice. That's not a parenting style. That's a different conversation. But I just wanted to talk a bit about how I was feeling, because anytime I get this urge to come share this with you guys, I'm always super nervous to post it. I'm always like second guessing myself right up until I publish the video, and then I do, and you guys are like, "Hey, you're not the only one." And I'm like, holy crap, I'm so glad I did that, because it is very isolating to keep that to yourself and keep it all right here or right here and just try to write it off or not pay attention to it or keep yourself busy or tell yourself that you should be this, that, or whatever, when it's just like, give yourself some grace and feel what you need to feel and know that you're not alone. Because honestly, I think a lot more parents would say it if they felt comfortable enough to share it. But quite frankly, there's probably either people in their lives or just society as a whole who make it feel like they can't share their truth. I know that from personal experience. There's definitely people in my life that I've had to put up boundaries with because I don't feel comfortable talking about the things that I need to talk about out of fear of judgment or criticism or whatever else. Guess what? Maybe those people don't deserve a spot in my space. You know? And your space is yours, and you can create it how you see fit. You don't have to keep toxic relationships alive. You deserve to take care of yourself, whatever that means, whether it's as basic as a hot shower or something like going to therapy, or I don't know, whatever floats your boat, and taking care of yourself. But it's definitely hard, and you're not alone. You really aren't. So anytime any of you want to complain or bitch or vent or anything, my inbox is always open, and I'm not going to try and give you advice or to fix it unless you ask. Then of course I'll be happy to help if I can. But I'm going to listen, because I know that that's also something that I struggle with, because a lot of people do ask me how I'm doing, and I'll say fine or all right, because I don't want advice. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm already researching and looking at things and figuring out how I can be a better mom. It's not the lack of trying. I just need to be heard and seen and felt and understood. That's all. So I don't really want advice. I don't even necessarily want sympathy. I just want like compassion and to be understood and heard and things like that. I also say those things because I feel like a lot of people, I question how much they actually mean, how are you? I don't know if it's just like a Midwest kind of thing or maybe a United States kind of thing, but you know, anytime you go anywhere, you're like, hey, how you doing? And the person is always like, good, how are you? And you're like, good. You both could not very well be good at all, but you're gonna say that because that's just like part of our greeting to each other. And it's really hard to get out of that habit, but it's also really hard to gauge how much someone wants to actually have a conversation about how you're doing. So I don't ever want to burden anybody, so I just say fine, all right. Okay, the older girls are starting to fight and argue, so that is my cue to leave. I'm gonna get off here and go play referee in that match and probably start on my grocery list. But yeah, let me know how you're doing, how you're really doing down in the comments below. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. My shaky leg because I've been holding a camera for too long.